is the largest property and casualty insurance platform in the world. The company was founded in early 2000. We started with the product on claim called Claim Center, and then we evolved gradually to Policy Center and billing. Today, we have around 400 customers worldwide. The mission of Guidewire to transform to the cloud was very interesting and challenging. Not many companies have been able to do something like that. So I was very excited about trying to do that. All my experience to that date prepared me in the best possible way for the challenge.
I primarily joined because of Diego. Jokes apart. It was also an opportunity for me to validate the things that I'd done prior to joining Guidewire in terms of building out cloud platforms. Plus, this was an enormous challenge at the same time for me, which I thought I shouldn't give up on.
My first experience with Guidewire was actually when a friend of mine asked me to come in and give a talk. I came in, I gave a talk to the development team about Agile. That was when I first realized this was a company that was really in the middle of a big transformation. The more I got to know the company, the more it seemed like here's a company that's got 20 years of experience and is really successful and is now doing this really big transformation. And that felt like a super interesting challenge to me.
I'd been with Guidewire already for quite a few years when the whole cloud journey and transition began. I was, of course, super excited to be pulled into the team with Diego and to be a part of that initial journey and then seeing it through over the last 5 years. One of the things I personally love about Guidewire is that we serve one market, property and casualty insurance worldwide. We have a deep understanding of our market. It's a B2B business, so we know who all of our customers and potential customers are, and we engage with them frequently, and we have deep, deep partnerships. We understand our customers' business, we understand their priorities, and more importantly, we understand all of the technological innovations that are required to power that business. So we can even see ahead and build things that they're not even asking for yet.
We got a very large team distributed around the world in predominantly 6 locations between US and Europe. But that team was very scattered, was not operating as a one team. You can think in terms of, for example, the digital team and the core team to be completely independent. That was one of the biggest issues that we had at that point. In the first 90 days, I interviewed around 200 people, bottom up, into the entire organization to ask questions and understand what has been the sort of challenge until that point. After that, I decided to rebuild the organization ground up.
With regards to the challenges that we faced, there were primarily of 2 types. One was people, the other was technology. With regards to people, we had a lot of talented people here in Guidewire, but then how do we make sure that we increase the talent density in terms of the cloud technologies and the transformation that we needed? The challenges at the team level was about how do we build discipline, building out a software for the cloud. And that needed a lot of measurements. We needed the ability to know the direction we're going, how we're building it out, how do we validate these software as they get built out. We've moved from a 5-member team when I joined to more than 100 right now, so I think we're doing pretty good.
When you go through a transformation, different people have a different point of view on how to implement a transformation, but typically everybody agrees on what the problems are. So my focus on the first 90 days was to create a consensus of the problem that we were facing. Then, together with my team, I came up with an approach and an implementation on how to sort of tackle the top 10 problem. And that was taken very favorably. From there, we got to where we are today.
In terms of the cloud transformation, what really interested me was both the transformation of the technology and also the transformation of the culture. I'd been in a company before that did that, and I found it to be a really fascinating turn in the way a company handles itself, because it's not just about the technology, it's also about how you do business, about the DNA of the whole company.
Before the cloud transition, we were developing in 2-week sprints, but we were not delivering that value to customers until we did a release, which was about 2 years. What we needed to do to pivot is to change our mindset into continuous delivery of value to our customers, not just to the source code repository. So we needed to be able to, as a PM team, to plan, prioritize, and do discovery at a much faster cadence, and to also box that into deliverables that we could put into production and show to customers every 2 weeks. In the beginning, there were some challenges. You don't take a team that's used to delivering on a 2-year schedule and put them on a 2-week schedule in terms of product delivery without some road bumps and so on. The important thing, though, is that we could see that once we achieve this, And once we were able to get into a really good rhythm and cadence of doing this, we would rapidly accelerate how we went to market and how we developed our products and what we could do for our customers. And that's what kept everybody inspired and engaged.
I joined around 2018. Guidewire got to that point with a large success on self-managed customer with, by and large, a monolithic application architected and built in the early 2000s. It was a perfect solution back then, but in this cloud transition, that was not the best approach. Coming up with a strategy that was enabling the transition, but at the same time preserving the investment that our customer have made across the year was the most important challenge. We have decided from the very beginning that the transition was not a sort of rebuild, but we wanted to anchor our transition on top of the existing product, Insurance Suite. And the second decision was that we would build that on top of the AWS infrastructure. So that was the starting piece of the vision and the strategy.
My background has been building out platforms, an open source platform called Cloud Foundry. I'd also had experiences building, converting monoliths to microservices, architecture, which has helped me shape the direction of how we build our cloud platform.
My role in the Cloud Vision transformation was around the product. Diego brought me in to help define the MVP. He wanted that kind of agile mindset that would say, I don't need to over-engineer, I don't need to over-design because I can do a release every 2 weeks. I just want to deliver the minimum requirement and then iterate. About 2 years into my stay here at Guidewire, Diego asked me to take over operations for the same reason as well. He wasn't just looking for a technology shift, he was also looking for a cultural shift. We had to stop thinking about it as our goal is to get the customer live and then move on. Instead, it was our goal is to get the customer live and then continue to operate the customer at scale and with a stable and consistent service level.
We had this vision to release a software multiple times per year. The vision from the very beginning was, how can we innovate faster? How can we be more agile? How can we build more capability? How can we enable our customer to do things that until that day were not possible or very cumbersome to them to execute?
The product management team was probably equally parts terrified and excited about this new cloud vision. We started with the vision that Diego shared. And then we really started to focus on how could we change our procedures and our processes to do continuous delivery, make sure that we were delivering value every time that we finished a sprint. This idea that we could pivot to a world where customers were continuously able to uptake, and we had analytics in the cloud to measure uptake of our features, uptake of our products, how they're being adopted, how they're being used. It's just super energizing and exciting for the product management team.
The biggest technical challenge was the monolith, a solution that was architected and built very successfully, but in the early 2000s was not exactly the perfect infrastructure for moving into a cloud architecture moving forward. In the past, that would have been very, very difficult, but new technology came to support us in this transition, most notably Kubernetes and containerization. So we leveraged those two, and we decided to build what we call hybrid tenancy, that basically is a mix of single tenant and multi-tenant. It became clear that from a skill set perspective and from a team perspective, I needed to upskill what was my team back then. Anoop was the best person I knew that had that right level of knowledge to enable this vision of container and Kubernetes.
What is hybrid tenancy? It has different connotations in different contexts, but in our context, it's about running a single-tenanted core insurance application on a multi-tenanted platform, which interfaced with other multi-tenanted third-party ecosystem players and partners. There was nothing that did all of these things for us. We had to build our own operators, build it out on Kubernetes, and we built our own platform as a service called Atmos, which amalgamates the best of what is there out in the world right now for the insurance domain within the Guidewire context.
In terms of technical challenges, I think there were two really interesting things to me. The first was how to run Insurance Suite, which is Guidewire's flagship product, in the cloud. Insurance Suite was built over the last 20 years. It's got a lot of components that were not meant to run in the cloud, and we had to find new and creative ways to run them cloud native. The second big transformation that I found challenging was around data. Guidewire has an incredible amount of data. Previously, that data was available one customer at a time, and now we wanted to figure out how to make that data available across all customers while still maintaining all regulatory compliance, information security compliance, but still being able to deliver really great analytics products.
One of the things I love about working at Guidewire as a product manager is that we have deep business and technical challenges that we have to face with our customers. They have incredibly complex IT infrastructures. We need to fit into that, but also help them optimize all of the services around them so that they can innovate and move their business forward. Our core applications are super robust and scalable and really easy to customize. But the downside is that made them incredibly hard to upgrade. It took us 2 years to actually push out a release to customers. And then what we found is it would often take them 5 to 7 years to take that upgrade.
I have my personal favorite and my moment that I would recall forever. What about you, Julie? What is one thing that stands out on those 5 years?
First of all, props, the cloud platform, right? That's the foundation for all of our success now.
For me, the most memorable events in the past 5 years have been when we built out our cloud platform and getting our first customer on the cloud platform.
Having that first customer go live was just incredible. I think seeing the teams and the various teams starting to work together was really, really cool. But if I can just call out one thing specific, was during COVID. Like we launched this platform January 1st.
2020.
Right?
Yes.
And then 3 months later, I got shut in my garage for 2 years and like we didn't see each other. And yet somehow we still made the platform work.
I remember December 13, 2019. That was when the first customer put their first hand on the platform. So that day, I really remember. So that just makes me very proud and kind of remember that as a kind of milestone. But what makes me very proud in general is the team that we built, right? When we start this journey 5 years ago, not many people could spell cloud computing. We didn't have the knowledge. We had fantastic developers and engineers in multiple areas, but we were not expert in that area. And in a matter of few years, we've been able to build that expertise, build a platform, start to go into the direction of open source. We were so much not on the map, and now we start to contribute to open source. That is kind of changed completely the perception of Guidewire and how we play in this space. We were thinking about once we are going to have 10 customers running on the same platform and all the 10 customers will take the benefit of that upgrade at the same time. That was milestone number one. The second aspect was to do exactly what we're doing on the platform at the application level. We had this vision of upgrading all our customers to the latest ski resort release every 4 months and being able to shift all the customers to the latest release at the same time. Today, we have more than 120 customers running on the platform.
We used Kubernetes as the basis of our core orchestrator within our platform. We've built a lot of extensions to Kubernetes, and that is our secret sauce. So we use the power of Kubernetes, the power of containers, and other open source tools, all the way from Federation, SAML Federation, Okta Hub, etc. Along with using these technologies, we also were able to improve our density of running applications or customers in a single cluster, giving them the same performance as it would have been if they were running it in their data centers, which means that we had a reduced cost profile and improved reliability.
Insurance products are the lifeblood of the insurance industry. When we talk about insurance products, that's things like your homeowner's policy, your auto policy, a small business policy. Every insurance company designs those products differently, and they want the flexibility to constantly tweak them and take them to market. We've introduced a tool called Advanced Product Designer that allows them to do that. And then we've built a whole host of cloud microservices on top of that to implement rating and pricing, automation, digital data, really pushing the boundaries of how quickly customers can go to market with their products.
I'm not sure I would have said that on year one and maybe not even on year two, but 4 years in, things are going really well. From a product perspective, we've delivered the majority of features that we wanted to, and we are seeing customers happy with the feature set of the platform. They're always going to ask for more, but we haven't had a customer point out, I can't use your platform unless you have this. From an operations perspective, I think we're doing quite well. We've hit our SLA targets every month for the last 4 years. The big point at which I realized how smooth things were going was when I heard on Monday that 2 customers went live that weekend, and I didn't even know.
On a product perspective, Julie, what makes you excited about what we can now do on top of this platform, how is the opportunity looking forward?
First thing I'm going to say is that we can now build and deliver to our customers not only value in our existing products, but net new things. That was very difficult to do. We didn't launch a net new application product in many, many years, and now we can very easily.
We are looking at some really cool technologies and areas that we want to operate and make it easy for our SRE folks to manage clusters. We are upward of 51 clusters right now. It's not an easy job trying to maintain all of these and our developers to know about where to deploy things. So we are going to go away from the Kubernetes way of declarative systems to more intent-based systems. So it'll become a lot more easier for people to manage.
But tell us, are we sticking with EKS or are we going to go native Kubernetes?
You're on the record.
We're going to stick with EKS for the time being, and I think it's a great tool that AWS has given us. But there are a lot more technologies, like we'll be looking at security, secure software supply chain for our customers, all through end-to-end. We are migrating into a new code generation platform over Backstage. We'll be able to handle a lot more than just Spring Boot and Java. We're going to go to Golang, we're going to go to Python, we're going to go to data, AI, and ML. All of those things are things that are going to be coming in.
How about you, Gal? Still in the garage?
Still in the garage, yes. I'll have a bigger garage. But the last few words that Anoop said, it's the data, right? Insurance is a world that runs on data, right? And previously, each carrier was an isolated data set. And with what we've done now, we've built the platform, and now the data platform that we have on top of that is amazing, right? Obviously, we want to help our customers improve their bottom line. That's our goal. But even things like seeing what climate change is doing to the world through insurance claims, right? That's incredibly fascinating. And to have that power at our fingertips is incredible, right? I think that wealth of data and what we can do with it.
And what we can learn from it.
And we can learn from it, again, to improve business world and to improve the world. That to me is super exciting.
We always had this vision that data will have played a critical role into the evolution of our solution. And now having access to all those information, the fact that we build a cloud platform that we stream every transaction, we store every transaction, now we're in the best position to take advantage of anything that AI is going to introduce and everything that has to do with ML model. The road ahead is going to be very, very interesting. But Julie, and you being like the responsible of our Jutro digital transformation this year, what has been from a customer perspective the journey? And just to finish off on something that is really close to my heart, because making this solution digitally native was like one of the first goals.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see how customers have really embraced, I would say, our vision, but it's also their vision, right? We heard their feedback on how important digital engagement was to them and how they needed our help. More and more, they're competing with eyeballs for their customers who are used to things like Facebook and Instagram that have these amazing digital experiences. After a year or two of hard work, it's been really great to see how customers are already adopting it, and we'll have someone going live within one release of us going GA.
One of the other things that we did across this transformation that is not trivial, the vast majority of our developer works with something that is very modern and very cutting edge compared to 5-6 years ago.
If I can add to that, because I mean, in previous companies that I've worked at, there's always been disagreements between development and sales and customer success, and that's pretty normal. The teams that we have here are willing to work with one another and ask questions and be like, why do you want that?
Sure.
Well, I'm trying to do this. Sure. And that's, it just makes your life a lot easier.
Christoph, that is our leader in Poland, he told me that one of the unique things about Guidewire is that every development center is contributed equally.
I have teams now across Toronto, Birmingham, San Mateo, and Bangalore in India. Every center that we started off, we made sure that that equal say in the product that they were building. It was never a satellite to begin with, because then everybody feels a little part of the product that they've built. They feel that pride. And that's not easy to replicate otherwise.
Guidewire unique in general is a combination of size and culture. We're not a 100,000 employee company, and we are at the size into which every single engineer, every single product manager, and every single employee in general has a direct impact into this transformation. We always wanted to have an engineer capable to push their code into production, to have an impact in, so I did this and this is in use.
Going from that ideation to production stage, we've reduced that from, 2 years before for our product down to people can push and get it out in a release in a matter of weeks. It's amazing. But one major ingredient that I'd like to add is also the culture of innovation. We've seeded that to a large extent because of the speed at which you can push things out.
People that are going to be very successful at Guidewire are people that can put their full focus on a problem and keep on going after it.
And change is constant. We are constantly changing our stack, we're constantly improving things, so being able to come up to speed fast is very important.
But doing that in a very rational way, right? That's data-driven. It's not change for change's sake, it's
not
change for
change.
improvement's sake.
Change for improvements, being aware of how the industry is going, how can we improve that for the benefits of our customers and for our own teams.
I want to add to that the flexibility of thinking, right? And the flexibility of operating. You have new technologies coming out every year, and you have to determine which ones you're going to use and which ones you're not. You have new modes of operations. You have to be flexible, and if you're not, you're just not going to thrive here.
We're a publicly traded company that we try to sort of operate at the rhythm of a startup. What I think is good at Guidewire and unique is that we're being able to maintain a level of stability across the project, and so developers had the time to sort of find a solution for a problem.
We serve one market, we understand that market deeply, and we're not constantly changing another thing and pivoting.
We talked about the product, the journey, the product ahead. How about the company? How about working here? What's exciting you every day to come here?
One of my favorite things about Guidewire is you talked about moving the company forward. We took a really high-functioning engineering team and we brought them forward, and we added in all these new team members to be successful. And we argued and we debated and we disagreed, but we got here, and now we're just so poised to do so many more important things. Like, I think it's the people.
I think it's just the beginning. We've got to a platform, and this platform is just going to be like something that we can jump off of. We are solving some real world challenges, and these are different. Building out the team is awesome, and I can't think of a better team I've worked with anywhere. So those are things that makes me stick at Guidewire.
Yeah, same here. I mean, the team and the people I work with, it's just the kind of team that we work with here, I've found to be very gratifying. I come to work and I enjoy interacting with these people.
What is always very rewarding is that even when people leave Guidewire, they leave Guidewire maybe for a bigger opportunity, for something different to do. If we as a team could positively influence a career, independently of where this career will evolve, is always very fulfilling, right? And what is very unique at Guidewire is that more often than not, people comes back.
I was going to say that. I've lost count of how many people have reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, hey, I think I'm ready to come back.
And most of the time when they come back, is a win-win situation, right? It's like they know more things.
They're bringing new skills.
They bring in new skills back, but at the same time, they're going to look back to that unique team that they left at some point, and they want to be back.
I just want to point out, in the past few years, we probably had the lowest attrition too. Yep. So that definitely speaks volumes to the type of work that we're doing here.
This is also a combination of, if you find a way to work in a good environment and make it interesting, then attrition is inevitably low, right? That I think is what propelled us where we are today. What we've been able to achieve in the last 20 years is pretty unique. What we're going to be able to achieve in the next few years is going to be equally unique.